Hello, students. Welcome back to Earth School, where class is always in session. I am your headmistress, Karen Sheridan, and for today's lesson, we're going on a field trip. We're going to the Reframing Library, where we turn old, worn-out stories into new, empowering truths. See, sometimes the same thought loops in our head for so long, it becomes fact. But thoughts aren't facts. Thoughts are stories, and stories can be rewritten. Better yet, reframed. And hey, this is the only library where you are encouraged to laugh out loud. So let's go in. Now, before we head in, let's clear something up. Reframing your stories isn't the same thing as rewriting them. See, that phrase, rewriting your past, always tripped me up. Like, no, the past happened. Unless you have a time machine parked out back, we're not rewriting squat. And besides, rewriting your story smacks of toxic positivity. You know, the old cliches like, things happen for a reason and just be grateful kind of cliches. It's like bypass city, right? That's spiritual bypassing and it stinks. Now, reframing your story is compassionate. It's not dismissive. Reframing is self-empowering. It's not forced optimism. It acknowledges reality without erasing it. It's not spin, it's clarity. And I should know, I was the worst. I had more negative thoughts in my brain than the gray matter there. And I was my own worst critic. Always. My mother taught me well. But it wasn't just her. We learn these false stories from our families, from religion, our teachers, advertising, social media for sure, just culture in general, you name it. Sometimes these false stories are passed down like heirlooms. Instead of inheriting grandma's china, we inherit grandma's shame. And here's the thing, those stories don't just sit there quietly. They mutate. They spawn. One old story begets another until finally your whole life is sitting there shelved in the horror section. Doom and shame and tragedy on every page. Creepy violins, endless jump scares, and you end up starring in the movie adaptation, some slasher film that nobody ever bought tickets to. But reframing moves that story over into the nonfiction section. Same events, same plot, but now you're the survivor giving the TED Talk. Horror screams in the dark. Nonfiction turns on the light and takes notes. And hey, you're an adult. If you decide you want to stick with that old story, that's fine. Just know that it's dog-eared, the spine's cracked, and it smells of mothballs, so at least get a new copy. All right, class, here we are. We've arrived at the Reframing Library, where the nonfiction section sits front and center. So let me demonstrate how this works. The old story says you failed. The reframe says you learned. The old story says you were abandoned. The reframe says you found yourself. The old story says you were too much. The reframe says you were never meant to shrink. The old story says you're broken. The reframe says you're breaking through. And my personal favorite from the finance section, where the old story says, I have to hustle or I'll never have enough. The reframe says, hard work took me far, but rest and balance will carry me further. See how this works? A story can shrink you or it can stretch you. Every story has a back door. Reframing finds it. So your homework, take a look at the stories on repeat in your head. Which ones are shelved over in horror? Which ones need to be reshelved over into nonfiction? Remember, Reframing isn't lying to yourself. It's telling the fuller truth. It's underlining the parts of the story that heal you instead of haunt you. Let me say this again. Reframing isn't lying to yourself. It's telling the fuller truth. It's underlining the parts of the story that heal you instead of haunt you. Because when you change the frame, you change the picture. And with that, class, a final few reminders. In Earth School, overdue stories are always forgiven. The reference desk is always open, and spoiler alert, the librarian is your higher self. So that's why she or he always lets you laugh out loud in the library. Also, if you enjoyed today's outing, please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next field trip. Definitely head over to earthschoolprimer.com to download your free gift of 10 gentle reminders for your inner child. And finally, remember, recess is mandatory. No excuses, no hall pass. And so with that, class dismissed. Line up and let's dance our way out the door. Here is our recess anthem. Hit it.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.